Hello, and welcome to Easy English with Podcast. I'm Chowdhury, and I'm here to help you speak English. Today, we'll slow down and explore how simple, everyday habits can make you fluent in English without pressure, without hours of study, and without living in an English-speaking country. By the end, you'll see how small steps like listening, shadowing, and even thinking in English can transform the way you speak and understand. The truth is, fluency doesn't come from studying for hours at a time. Instead, it comes from short, consistent habits that slowly build your confidence and skill. One of the most powerful techniques you can try is called shadowing. Shadowing is simple. You listen to a sentence in English and you repeat it out loud, right after the speaker, matching their rhythm, pronunciation, and tone. At first, it might feel a little strange, but with time, you'll notice that your speech becomes smoother, your listening sharper, and your confidence stronger. Imagine listening to a short podcast or video clip and speaking along, almost like singing in harmony with the speaker. This practice connects your ears, your brain, and your voice at the same time, making English sound and feel more natural. One of the most effective ways to improve your English without stress or heavy study is through daily listening. Listening is the foundation of language. Before we ever speak, we spend years. So far, we've explored how listening and thinking in English can create a strong foundation for your fluency. Now, let's add another practice that brings your voice and your speaking muscles into the picture: reading aloud. Reading aloud is often overlooked by learners because it feels too simple, almost like something only children would do. But in reality, it's one of the most effective ways to train your mouth, your tongue, and your brain to work together in English. When you read silently, your eyes and mind are active, but your voice is silent. That means your speaking muscles, the parts of your mouth that shape sounds, don't get the same exercise. By reading aloud, you give your mouth the chance to practice real English sounds in real time. Think of it like physical exercise. Just as running strengthens your legs and arms, reading aloud strengthens the muscles you use to speak. With every passage you read, your mouth becomes more comfortable with English pronunciation, and your tongue learns to move in ways that may not exist in your first language. The beauty of this practice is that you don't need special materials. You can read anything: a page from a book, a short news article, even the captions of a video. Start small. Read a paragraph out loud, slowly and clearly. Pay attention not only to the words, but also to the rhythm and flow. English has its own natural music, with stressed and unstressed syllables, rising and falling tones. Reading aloud helps you internalize that rhythm. If you want to take this a step further, try reading with expression. Imagine you were telling a story to someone else. Add pauses, emphasize important words, and let your voice rise and fall naturally. This doesn't just improve your pronunciation, it also builds confidence. The more you practice, the more natural your spoken English will sound, because your voice has already rehearsed it many times in a safe, comfortable way. Now let's talk about how to integrate English into your daily life. This is where fluency becomes truly sustainable. Instead of treating English as a separate subject that you study only when you sit down with a textbook, you can weave it into the fabric of your everyday routines. This makes learning feel effortless, almost invisible, because you're not carving out extra time, you're simply switching the language of the tasks you already do. A simple first step is to change your phone settings to English. Every time at this point in our journey, you've seen how listening, thinking in English, reading aloud, and weaving English into daily life all work together to create a natural learning rhythm. But there's one more practice that ties everything together and helps you develop something even more important than vocabulary or grammar: confidence. And that practice is self-recording. Confidence is often the missing piece for English learners. Many people study for years, learn thousands of words, and understand grammar rules. But when it's time to speak, they freeze. Their mind goes blank, or they worry about mistakes. This fear can hold learners back more than any lack of knowledge. The truth is, fluency is not just about knowing English, it's about trusting yourself to use what you already know. So, how do we build that trust? One of the simplest yet most effective methods is recording your own voice. At first, this may sound uncomfortable. Many people don't like hearing themselves on playback, even in their native language. But this small discomfort is worth it because self-recording gives you something no other method does: a clear mirror of your progress. When you record yourself speaking English, you create a snapshot of your ability at that moment in time. You don't need fancy equipment, just your phone or computer. Choose a topic, set a timer for 1 or 2 minutes, and start speaking. You could describe your day, summarize something you heard in English, or simply talk about how you feel. The subject isn't important. What matters is that you speak freely, without stopping to overthink. Once you finish, listen to the recording. At first, you may notice things you don't like. Maybe your pronunciation feels awkward, or you hear mistakes. That's okay. In fact, it's good. By noticing, you become aware. And awareness is the first step to improvement. Over time, you'll also start to notice positive changes: words flowing more easily, fewer pauses, a smoother rhythm. Think of it this way: athletes watch recordings of their performance to see what they're doing well and where they need to improve. Musicians record their practice to hear their timing and expression. In the same way, English learners can use recordings as a tool for feedback and growth. Each short recording becomes a stepping stone, helping you move forward with greater awareness and confidence. Another benefit of recording yourself is that it reduces performance pressure. In a real conversation, you might feel nervous because another person is watching or listening. But when you record privately, you remove that pressure. It's just you and your voice. You can practice as much as you like without fear. We've come a long way together in this episode. We began by exploring the simple truth that fluency doesn't require hours of study, or living in an English-speaking country, or having a native speaker by your side every day. Instead, it's built through small, consistent habits that fit naturally into your life. We talked about the power of listening daily, even for just a few minutes. Those small drops of English sound build up over time, teaching your ears the rhythm and music of the language. We discovered how thinking in English shortens the gap between your mind and your speech, making English feel less like a translation and more like your own voice. Then we looked at reading aloud, a practice that gives your speaking muscles real exercise, helping your tongue and mouth get comfortable with sounds that may once have felt awkward. After that, we explored ways to integrate English into daily routines, changing phone settings, keeping a short diary, watching short videos, and joining online groups. These habits turn English into a living part of your world, not just a subject you study. And finally, we explored the practice of self-recording, a gentle yet powerful way to build awareness, track progress, and most importantly, grow confidence. With every voice note, you take another step toward trusting yourself in English. So now, as we close, let's step back and look at the bigger picture. Learning a language is not a race. It is not about speed or perfection. It is about creating a relationship with the language, slowly, steadily, and with patience. Every time you listen, read, think, or record, you are nurturing that relationship. Some days the progress may feel invisible. Other days, you might suddenly realize you understood a sentence without translating, or spoke more smoothly than before. These small victories are signs that your habits are working. Remember, consistency is more powerful than intensity. 10 minutes a day, repeated again and again, will take you further than 2 hours once a week. Think of your practice as planting seeds. Each seed